Hello and welcome back. In this new lesson, we are going to learn how to get input from the user. We are going to do that by using the scanf function. So the scanf function is a function for getting the input from the user, and you can get input of numbers from the user, and you can also get input for strings. In C program, before you can use scanf, you must declare a variable to store the number that you are going to input. So this is the statement that declares an integer variable called number. After declaring that variable, you can use it in your scanf function by calling the scanf function with two parameters. The first parameter is the format specifier. %d means that it is a number, and then the second parameter is the address of the variable number. This symbol here is a special symbol. It means address of. So when you call the scanf function, the program will pause to wait for the user to type in something. After the user enters a number and press the enter key, the number will be stored in this variable called number. We also have a version for inputting strings. So for inputting strings, you must first declare the string. In C programming, the declaration of strings is done by creating a character array using the char character keyword, and then give a variable name for the string, and then specify the length of the bytes that is to be used for creating the strings. So this is actually an array of 32 elements. So this is actually how you create strings in C program. Then when you want to use that inside the scanf function, you use the %s as the format specifier, and then s refers to string, and in the second parameter you just give the name of the string. You do not have to put the address of operator. You don't have to put that, because in arrays, the name of the array itself is the pointer to the string. So that is an exception, special case in C program. So string itself is already the address of string in memory. So this is just revision for those of you who have forgotten your C program. And even if you don't know, haven't taken C program, you don't really need to know this stuff. All you need to know is the assembly version. So now let us try to implement this in assembly. So let's push this to one side and open up your XDBG. Open the template 1 and put your cursor here. So to implement this function in assembly, you need to have address in memory where you are going to store your number, and also you need an address in memory to store the format specifier. Two things you need. The first one is the number itself. So the number itself, you have to allocate memory. Go here. Normally we use this for storing data. There's another location where you can also store data, BSS. So BSS can also be used, the BSS segment. The difference between these two is that whatever data you store in the data segment will survive a restart of the program. That means after you restart the program, your values are still in the data segment. That is why it is called initialized data. But if you were to put your data in BSS, when you restart the program, everything will be deleted. So that is why this BSS segment is called uninitialized data. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use the BSS as well as the data segment. So for the data segment, we are going to store your format specifier, because when the program restarts, you still want to have this data inside your program. And then for BSS, we are going to use it to store the variable, the number, because this number doesn't need to be It doesn't need to be preserved after you restart the program. This number here is always changing. Each time you run the program, the number will be different because this number is input by the user. So that's why we put this in BSS. However, you can also use data to store number. But I just want to show you that there's an alternative. That's why I'm introducing you to the BSS segment. So now let's start by allocating the address for storing your number. So this is a variable, so we're just going to store in uninitialized data segment. So we double click on BSS and we can use any location here. They are all free. So let's say we take 405010, this one. So we can right click here and copy this address. Then over here we can use the push. We press spacebar and then we type push and then the address, paste it there. Click OK. So this is where you're going to store your number which the user enters. Over there, 405010. Next you have to push the string to the stack. So to do that we have to use the data segment. Go here and look for empty location, maybe this one. Use one D word and it should be enough for our %d format specifier. Edit and type in %d. Hit OK. So now we have %d there. You can copy this address, copy the address, and then come here and type push hex prefix and click OK. And then finally we are going to scanf. So we look down, scroll down and look for a location where there is a call and just double click it and go to the jump tables for all the functions. So we need a scanf function, so just scroll a little bit and you will see over here scanf. So right click and copy this address, go back to the instruction pointer and click on it, and now we are back. Over here we press spacebar and put a call there, type hex prefix and paste the address of the scanf function. That's it. Now we can run the program and you hit a breakpoint. Remember, you should put a breakpoint before you run. So now let's see what happens. We step over until we come here. So this is going to push the address of the second parameter. Second parameter is this variable here, this address of this number, and the address is 405010. So let's go there now. Let's take a look at the memory map for BSS, and this is the one, 405010. This is the address. So let's step over that and you see now the address is on the stack, 405010, which is here. So whatever data the user type in will be stored here. Next we are going to push the format specifier, which is at this data segment 403050. So for that we select DUM2, because DUM1 we want to keep an eye on this, so we select DUM2 now. We are going to go to the memory map and take a look at the data. So click on the data segment and it will be shown in DUM2. So in DUM2 you can see at this location 403050 you have your format specifier %d. So now now we're going to step over this and you can see the format specifier is the first parameter, it's on the stack, and then the address where you're going to store the input is also on the stack, 405010. So DUM1 shows the address of the second parameter, DUM2 shows the address of the format specifier. So we're going to keep an eye on DUM1 because after we type in the number, we want to see it appearing here. So let's go back to this now. So once we step over this, it will wait for us to type something. Right now it is in a pause state. So when we step over this, you will see that the pause state will become a running state. Step over this, and now it is in a running state. When it is in a running state, it means that the program is waiting for us to do something. So over here we need to type in the number that we want to input. So we can type in 33. Let's say 33 and press enter. So once you press enter, you will notice the running state will change back to the pause state. So let us now press enter, and now you see the running state has changed to the pause state, meaning that we are now back in your debugger. And now if you go to this location, you will see that this memory address 405010 now has got the hex 21. Hex 21 is 33. So to check, you can go to the calculator and then type in 21 under hexadecimal, and 21 is 33. That's the number we enter. So when you type 33 here, press enter, it is stored in your memory address here as 21 in hex. So this is how scanf works. Okay, so now you can save your project, patch file, and then we shall give this a name 19 scanf.exe. scanf.exe. So this is how we can input data from the user. So now in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to printf the value that the user entered over here. So for that, I'd like you to try it first on your own to see if you can know how to do it. You should be able to, since you already learned the printf function. So give it a try first before you watch the solution in the next video. Thank you for watching.